Hi, it's Mark with you today, and for a change I'm not out at the gun club. I'm right here in my backyard because I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes. Hopefully me just talking won't make any of you check out before we even get started. But I'm going to talk to you today about my confidence gun. And when I'm done with the video, when you watch through the video, what I'd like is for those of you who have a confidence gun. In other words, you've got a gun that you depend on. You have confidence in that gun. You shoot it more than others. You carry it. You may use it for home defense, but you have more confidence in that gun than you do any others, and it's the one that you primarily use for self-defense. Could be two of them. If that's the case, let us know what it is. Please let us know that in the comments, and take the room that you need to describe that gun and what it is and why you have such good confidence in it. Now, what that does not need to include is a bunch of insults about somebody else's gun, including this one that I'm going to talk about right here. And you'll see my dogs in the background here. I'm not putting the dogs all up and a bunch of stuff here. I've got to be careful with them out here. I got to watch where they are, but they're part of the family here, so they're out here. But we want to hear from you. Have your comments on what is your confidence gun in this thread. Let's make this thread valuable by talking about personal experience from experienced gun owners. There may be people coming here that are trying to figure out what to do about a self-defense gun. They may not like my description of mine, but they may see one of your descriptions and decide, hey, that's what they need. So let's make it valuable without insulting anybody else's firearm or anything anybody else says here. Give us your experience with your gun. It'll be appreciated and it'll be helpful in this thread. The gun that I've been carrying for 13 years. I've owned two of these. One of them has long since been dispensed with. I've kept this one, and I've carried this one. Carried these guns for 13 years. It's Glock 23, a third generation Glock 23. See the the finger grips are here, or the finger slots here in the grip. Yep, that's a third generation right there. Now, for those of you that are safety hawks, I have safe directions to point my guns here. I'm not going to take the time to walk around and prove it. There's brick walls over here, brick wall back here, ground right here. We'll watch for the dogs over here, but I got safe places to point my gun. There is no magazine in this gun. It is visually cleared, physically cleared, triggers pulled and set, and the gun is now safe to show you. This Glock 23, there's a reason for this Glock 23. I've shot it for years and years. In the last 15, 16 years, I've owned and used and shot and tested and reviewed over 60 handguns. About 30 of those I've actually carried as part of the review process. Some of them I carried for a little while, some of them I carried for an extended period of time just to be able to review it under those conditions. But the gun that's been my go-to gun all that time, including right now, is this one right now, right here. I use two guns to carry primarily right now, a Smith & Wesson Shield and this gun, but this is the one that will be the choice to go with me most places when I can carry it. This Glock 23, the reason I carry a Glock 23 is, first of all, dependability. I know that I can depend on a Glock. I can depend on this gun in particular. I know what the idiosyncrasies are of this gun, and yes, if you've been shooting a long time, you know that your favorite guns have little idiosyncrasies. Glocks are supposed to never fail under any conditions. You know, they're supposed to be perfect according to Glock, but the reality is this one will shoot any ammo on the market. It'll shoot all my reloads. One type of bullet that will shut this thing down from time to time, and that's a flat-sided, shouldered bullet with a flat top. Even whether it's reloads or whether it's in factory ammunition, from time to time, this gun will fail to feed, or there will be a jam in this gun for some reason with those flat-sided, flat point, shouldered bullets that just don't do well in this gun. Everything else, it shoots like a dream. So I know the idiosyncrasies of this gun, and as far as self-defense ammo goes, I don't know of any of the self-defense ammo that's in that shape anyway. It's generally just in practice ammo, ball ammo that's not hollow points or not intended for defensive ammo, but shoots everything and shoots it without fail, except for bullets with that shape. Glock 23, I shoot it well. It's a compact model, but I can get a full grip on this gun. My hand happens to fit this just perfectly, or it fits my hand just perfectly, whichever way you want to put it. Those finger grooves, which some people hate, some people don't care, some people like them, with me, they're just fine because they fit my hand just perfectly. This gun fits me just right. There's none better that fit my hand better than this Glock 23 does. I like a lot of other guns, I shoot other guns, but this is the one that I can pick up all the time, and it's going to fall in the same spot all the time. I like on the Glocks in general, on this one in particular, this curve in the trigger guard, that's perceptive. It's got stippling on it. I use that. When I go for this gun on the range and I'm shooting, I get as much grip on that gun as I can. I put my finger forward of that grip, grab the grip there, and get as much purchase on that gun as I possibly can when I'm firing. So that's another plus for me. Otherwise, if I didn't have it there, it would still work just fine. So the gun's the right size for me. As far as aftermarket parts for Glocks, most of you out there that have been shooting for a long time, or quite a while anyway, you're familiar with Glocks, and you know that they're, whether you like them or hate them, you know that they're the aftermarket parts. There's no end to the aftermarket parts for Glocks on the market. I mean, every piece of this gun, virtually every model of Glock made, you can find a replacement part and an aftermarket part for it. Particularly prevalent are triggers and sights. On this gun, the first thing I did was take the sights off of it. That was a long time ago, but I took the sights off. This has got True Glow Combat, steel True Glow Combat tritium night sights. The back of this sight right here is high enough and flat enough to where you can actually manipulate the slide on a firm surface, on a firm edge, and actually chamber around on a firm edge with just one hand. So the sights were changed on this. It's got a drop-in trigger from GlockTriggers.com. GlockTriggers.com. If you don't know what they do, you can probably figure that out by the name. A good company with a pretty innovative design in the triggers that they put together. Is they use OEM parts. They use actual Glock parts. They will take and modify these triggers by polishing the parts, replacing a trigger bar, spring, etc., to get the trigger where it's supposed to be for each model that they make and describe. This one's called a skimmer trigger. It's what it does for this gun. For this gun is, if you familiar with the Glock again, you know that on the regular Glock trigger there's a lot of take up. With this trigger that I've got in here right now, take up is about 1/8 of an inch. It's almost non-existent. You hit the wall almost immediately. The trigger pull is about a pound lighter than the stock trigger, the 5.5 pound stock trigger, but it's just as long. So it doesn't feel much lighter, but it is. But the take up is removed. It's very crisp when it breaks. Reset. Also, it improves the trigger considerably, but keeps it safe as a carry trigger. So, with this gun, any Glock I've ever had, the only modifications I've ever made to any Glock are with the sights. This one is the only one I've actually ever put a different trigger in, and I put that trigger in just because I carry the gun and I want that trigger in there to be the best it can be while keeping the gun safe. So, another thing about this gun is it's a Glock 23. It is 40 caliber. Some people hate 40 caliber. There's all kinds of chatter about 40 caliber. That's a lot of it's nonsense, but I still prefer 40 caliber for my carry ammunition. Not to necessarily shoot, I don't prefer it, but I do prefer it as carry ammunition. Another thing I like about this Glock 23 in particular, is something that I can do with it. And that is that with just changing out the barrel to this right here, I can turn it into a Glock 19. Changing out the 40 caliber barrel for this barrel right here, it becomes a 9mm Glock without changing out anything else in the slide or the frame. That barrel right there does it, along with the 9mm magazines, of course. This is what amounts to a 9mm bull barrel that are now made. There was a time where you could convert a Glock 23 to a Glock 19, but you had to change out the slide and possibly a couple things in the frame. Anymore, all you got to do is change out that barrel right there. A number of aftermarket conversion barrels are made for the 40 caliber, where you can change it to a 9mm, shoot 9mm, carry it with 9mm. And my experience with this is I've shot it with a lot of different 9mm magazine, or a lot of ammo. I've shot it with all kinds of ball ammo. I've shot it with my reloads. I've shot it with several different hollow points. Performs perfectly. So it performs just as well as a Glock 19 as it does as a Glock 23. So essentially I have two guns in one. It rides in this holster right here. That's a CYA holster that I reviewed, oh, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months ago, something like that. And it rides in that about 90% of the time with me now, mostly in an appendix position. A lot of confidence in that gun right there. I mean, there's other guns that I enjoy shooting more, but that's my go-to gun. It's been my confidence gun for a long time. It remains my confidence gun. I know what it's going to do, how it's going to do. I know where it's going to fall in my hand. I know I'm intimately familiar with everything about that gun. That's the one that I continue to carry. I have no plans to change that in the future. It doesn't mean I don't carry anything else under different conditions where I have to dress a certain way or can't carry one this size, but in general, that's the one that'll go with me if I can carry it. So that's my carry gun. That is my confidence gun. Glock 23, 3rd generation. Now, do I have anything against 4th or 5th generations? No, not a bit. There's just no reason for me to change anything when this one works as well as it does, fits me as well as it does. No reason to change to a different version or different generation. So that's my gun. That's my confidence gun. That is the gun that I will continue to carry and continue to depend on to protect my life, my family's life, people around me. If I'm in a crowded area, that's the gun that's likely going to be with me if I can dress to wear it, to carry it. So that's mine. What about yours? Smith & Wesson, Glock, Sig Sauer, Beretta, some other brand? What about a revolver? What about a 1911? Is that any of yours? Please, in the comments below, take as much space as you need to describe your experience with your confidence gun. And again, keep it polite. Keep in remembrance that it's not necessary to trash anybody else's gun to talk about yours. Give us some help. Let's make this a valuable thread where people can come on and look and see the differences and see the reasons and see the strengths of different types of firearms from people that have direct experience with them. I'll thank you in advance for that. I'm Mark Rogers, and I'll see you again soon in another Christian Gun Owner video.